Hi guys, it's Ben from Island Computers again. Sorry about the hiss from the microphone. My lapel mic's not working, so I'm using this boom one, which is a bit hissy. The reason for this video is to quickly show you how to change your language from English US to whatever you need it to be. In my case, being in Australia, it's English Australian. There's an annoying thing that Microsoft keep doing where they do a major patch for Windows 10 and it seems to re-add English US, but also when someone initially sets up their computer, a lot of the time they're not actually setting it up to be for the language that they need. So when you start going into Microsoft Word, it uses the display language for the machine, so it's English US. So when you type favourite correctly with the U in it, it'll then underscore it and say that's wrong, you should be changing it to favorite. Same with colour, flavour, realise, organise. It'll try and tell you that that's the wrong spelling because you're using an S when in fact that's a correct spelling and the American one is wrong. So here's a quick way of making sure that your Windows language is set to the correct one, so English Australian I say in this case, and also quickly how to remove English US if it gets re-added from the updates. So first things first, bottom left hand corner, then click on the settings menu, then go into time and language. Now one thing that's very important to check first is to go into the region and just check that your region is correct. So in this case it's it's Australian, and the regional format, current format recommended English Australian. There is a bit of an issue with English Australian at the moment where they seem to be a little bit slack and allow favorite and color and stuff like that sometimes, and I'm not happy about that. But you can't change it to English UK, which would obviously correct those things because the English UK keyboard has a different layout to the Australian one, which is set to US. So you're going to, the next thing you need to do basically is just leave it on Australian, go into language, and here you'll probably find that it'll say English US. That's the default, always English US. Even if when you're setting it up, you say that you're in English, you're in Australia, it still just goes, you use English American, don't you? That's fine, which really bugs me because I can't stand their version of English. Anyway, so in here, the first thing you need to do to be able to set the Windows display language to English Australian is to click on English Australian down here if it's there, and click on options, and then most of the time what I find is the language pack isn't installed, so you should be able to just click download and then wait for that to download. You don't need the handwriting unless you have a touch screen and a stylus, in which case yep, definitely click it. You just need the language pack, and then once that's installed you can then click on here and you'll have the extra option. It won't be there before, but then you can click on English Australian. It'll ask you to log out, log back in, so do that, come back in, come back into the same place, so open the settings menu and go to time and language again, and just double check that it's set to English Australian. Now, so one thing that I said does happen a lot of the time, hang on, yeah, so that's how to change your language. The display language for Windows is English Australian to English Australian. Sorry, hope that helps. Second part of the video about the language settings in Windows. So one of the other things that I've noticed is when there's a major update from Microsoft, it tends to re-add English US, but it doesn't appear in the preferred languages section. So when you, for example, if you have that second language installed, sorry, I'll go back in there. Let me just re-add English United States. You'll see this in the bottom right hand corner, ENG, and then when you look on there you can see that there's a English United States keyboard. So you can see it's installing now, but if we go to language preferences in that little menu down there, it'll take us right to this page, and that's the weird thing. It'll show up down there, but it won't show up in here. Why, Microsoft? Why is this happening? So if it does, if you have that, you know, see I've got rid of it now, but if you do find that you have the English and you have American in there, the only way to get rid of it is to actually install it So you have to click on here, click on English US, install. Don't set it as the display language, obviously. We want that to be English Australian in this case for us. And then you don't need to let it install completely. You can basically just see it there. Oh, I've missed it now. I'm going to have to wait. Wait for it to install if you miss the remove, and then just click remove. And then you'll find that the ENG will disappear from the bottom right hand corner. And then you basically just wait for it to get re-added again the next time they do a major update. It's really annoying, and it's a bug, and Microsoft don't seem to want to fix it. But hopefully that helps you to work out how to do it. So, as I say, when you see the ENG down here, you click on language settings, which will take you to this menu right here. You will probably find it's not in the list. Click on add preferred language, type in ENG, scroll down till you hit United States, click that, click install, and then click remove. And there we go. Hope this helps.